Anime.
Yokoku no Moriarty, done by Production IG.
Production IG. Yeah. So,
Before we went into this anime, we were appreciating the art and animation, and later we found out.
And we're thinking about, wow, this looks cool. And we didn't know actually that
We were appreciating it so much.
And then we found out it was done by Production IG, and we thought,
Yeah, of course.
Of course.
Of course.
Of course. So
They did Haikyuu, they did everything.
they did most of the good sports anime actually. So animation.
Animation, like, we don't have anything to
Yeah,
say. It's like on point.
It's on point. It's by done by Production IG. It will be on point. Like what to say, it's one of the most top tier anime studios out there. Production IG, Ufotable, MAPPA, Kyoto Animation,
And with Ufotable, DOP. DOP
is so resembling
of Fate series.
Of the Fate series, Fate Zero. I'll say Fate Zero.
Hey, it's
The whole Fate
kind of Fate vibe is here.
Yeah,
right?
but when I saw the OP, Fate Zero, that flashed in my mind. That flashed in my mind.
Moriarty versus Sherlock scene.
And the whole this scene.
Yeah, scene.
The whole this scene. Kire Kotomine versus Tsugumi.
Yeah.
That was it.
And like the dynamic. We'll go into that. This episode was basically an introductory episode to
Moriarty's character, like what his thought process were, what he was thinking, why he does things, what he does, like his whole process.
Sherlock was not involved in this.
Sherlock was not there. Spoiler alert.
But we can kind of take a peek at what their dynamic would be. And it's interesting to see.
This will be that kind of a show where we will be rooting for Sherlock and Moriarty
as well,
for both.
Like, so they'll share some similarities in their ideologies and they will have differences in them, right?
Like the end goal will be the same, but the means will be different.
Psychopaths, another one done by Production IG.
Psychopaths.
Yeah, in Psychopaths, the antagonist and the MC, right? Well, spoiler to Psychopaths, it didn't end well for the antagonist. But the protagonist learned from him. He adhered some of his ideals and he went off the grid. And even in Sherlock, right, the BBC one, even in there's a mutual respect to Moriarty and Sherlock as well. Both of them respect each other and both of them have this rivalry sort of thing. And Moriarty's arc in BBC Sherlock, it was like basically he had this mind which others can't comprehend. Only in Sherlock, only in people like him, only people like them can confide in each other, right? That part. Here in this anime though, it wasn't like they were supernatural beings and Moriarty here was surrounded by other people and here he wasn't like antisocial or anything. Their characters weren't so much of human, right? They had this human element. And because of that, there is a subtle difference from the BBC show.
There are references. So here he dedicates himself like as a crime consultant.
And BBC, we know, even there, he was a crime consultant, but well, we didn't see the POV of him. We saw.
We are seeing his POV, and it's him.
And there are subtle differences. Okay, so in BBC, Moriarty was villainous, right? He did bring innocence into the bay. Here though,
he's giving voice to the people, voiceless, and he's working on a gray area. What he's doing is actually wrong, but it's
let's think about how the dynamic could be between Sherlock and Moriarty. It's still the first episode and we are yet to explore Sherlock's version, but so far we can take a guesstimate, right? Guesstimate of sorts that how their dynamic would play out. So Moriarty would be basically your anti-hero of sorts, giving voice to the voiceless. He would condone crime over what is his version of justice. His version of justice is like vengeance. It holds things that is in legal term wrong, but well, it's a morally gray.
It's a morally gray area.
Sometimes, like you can take the example of the character Punisher, right? He goes on basically killing criminals and all those, right? So Punisher could be considered a villain at times, and he is an anti-hero because of that. And basically he also treads in a morally gray area. So basically their dynamic would be like Sherlock basically being all crime is crime, and for Moriarty it will be like
crime with a purpose. Crime with a purpose.
And the difference between BBC and here would be Moriarty in BBC would do things to innocence, which I don't think here
that would be the case. At least in the first episode, it has been shown he's giving the one whose son was killed medium to take revenge actually. And it was wrong, but again morally gray. So that this will be a morally gray anime, and I hope it doesn't shy away from the whole death and the whole revenge thing.
So basically, this is nothing like Overlord in the aspect of isekai and all that. This is nothing like Overlord, but there is a satisfaction in Overlord, a sadistic kind of satisfaction that Overlord gives, which is present in this. In Overlord, the MC is basically villain. He is basically the antagonist, and here he is not an outright villain, but he is an anti-hero, and he himself doesn't commit crime. Like he makes other commit crime, right? But the similarities between both of them is the vibe, you know, even if it's wrong, but the satisfaction, that sadistical thing that triggers, right? Both this anime. If you're not a fan of this vibe, maybe this will off-put you. But if you liked Overlord for that particular itch, right? Then it's present here.
Yeah. Okay. So moving on to style, there are so many symbolisms here. The scene starts with a red London. The streets are empty and it's red, and the whole statues like horror escargot statues, and that already sets a vibe of a 19th century London. Plus the whole red element gives it a whole thriller vibe. It's going back to its roots. It's basically going back to the whole 90s vibe kind of thing, and it's good actually. It's really good. I haven't seen an anime like this. Well,
yeah, there are similarities, but okay, directly this,
they haven't set this kind of tone before.
Well, there are some animes, Italia, World Axis, like some does come to mind, but the themes are
different, and like there are a lot of symbolisms used, and it's not even the one scene. They are using it continuously throughout the anime for split seconds or so, and it sets the tone really well. Like what this anime will be about.
And from him, the 19th century London, I'll bring the details, right? Well, everything about it was 19th century, but the thing that pleased me the most was the background inside the house. There were wallpapers, like those Victorian symbolic Londonese vibe. So basically, so minute detail, but it sets the theme so clearly, right?
Basically, is doing a great job.
Yeah, they could have painted the walls white, or they could have done some blend something, you know. But they went above and beyond and painted everything. Did it so that we could actually feel
the experience. It's an experience. It's an experience, and it's really good. You should at least watch the first episode.
And also about the protagonist, there will be. Well, for all the Fujos out there, this will be something you should keep an eye on. By the way, I don't think I'll consider myself a Fujo or whatever it is. But I do like some kind of spark between characters like this. For example, this
Koitsugu Emiya and Kire Kotomine.
Between them, and then the psychopath thingy, you know.
Don't know the names, sorry.
We forget a lot. And Hannibal.
Yeah, Hannibal too, yeah.
Will and Hannibal Lecter.
Yeah.
We'll see that kind of dynamic here played all over again. So that's a itch that personally I crave once in a while, so this will be good. And one more thing I'd like to point out is production IG. Haikyuu is, at least the manga is coming to an end.
Manga has already ended.
Yeah. And the anime is kind of catching up. It'll take some time, but it will go there. So once there's a hole, something has to fill it up. This may be it. This may be it. They have done thriller, they have done Psychopaths. Psychopaths and here, right? Psychopaths was futuristic. This goes back in time.
Victorian London, yeah. So in Psychopaths as well, they set the tone right of the future.
They always do the setting right.
Yeah, production IG.
Production IG.
Right. Oh, you are also a fangirl of production IG.
So what have they done bad, right?
I don't think they have ever done anything bad. Mediocre maybe, but not bad. Here, Moriarty uses deduction, and the deductions they are made it show that the audience, viewers, gets it, just like they are doing in the BBC Sherlock. They are given hints and clues, and the whole visual representation is there here as well. They are giving clues of how this comes together.
And as in Sherlock, Sherlock goes more over the top. But
here it's more grounded. There are no supernatural deductions. It's like, something I could pick if I think about it. If I linger that thought in my head and I process that thought too much, I can come up with that. But he's doing it quick. He's doing it super fast. But it's there, and it is giving a new layer to it. We don't have to scratch our head for that. We get it. This happens. Oh, that's why this is happening. Yeah.
And with BBC, they go over the top. Here it's grounded. Even then, there is a similarity, and that similarity is a stylized version.
Yeah, stylized version.
So even in Sherlock, when they deduce, right, there are different kind of elements going around, which is only possible in that particular medium. Not live action, not about anime. It's about that motion thingy, right? Motion and visual representation thing, which I don't think manga did it to this extent. like it's not possible. I mean, they will show maybe
there will
there
be
will be
visual
visual cues, but here the camera panning from the bottom, showing the father figures, bringing them aside. So that thingy, right? That flow you won't find that in the manga.
Yeah.
So production IG, maybe the source is good. Actually, it has to be good.
It
right?
has to. Source
always
has to be good because animation can only take it to an extent. Yeah.
So the source, it is good, obviously, but production IG did merit to it.
Yeah, production idea is taking artistic liberty with it, and we are loving the artistic liberty, at least for now. I don't know the manga could be even better. I don't know. We don't know for now. But what we see, we are loving it, and we'll end it with the best quote of this episode. Bye.